going on, guys? Welcome back to Dibbles SuperCoach, here with my round 14 review. Let's get into the team and how I went for the round just gone. Holy shit. Where the fuck's my cursor? Here we go. Alrighty, let's go to home. Cool team. Well, here's how we went. 2097, which put me at top 10% for the round. Bit of a rank climb as well. So into 16,000 now, which is what? Top 8%. That's not too bad. Predominantly won my leagues and got the 9 trades left. All right, let's get into the team. Alrighty, let me make this a little bit bigger. I think the last video was a little bit too small. That should do us. All right, cool. So I'm just going line by line. Sinclair. Interesting with Sinclair, he had a couple of his kick-ins, taken from Naz. Naz took the lion's share back there. Look, Sinclair's been absolutely unreal for many, many weeks now, so can't really complain with his 90, but there would have been more than a few people that captained him because he was a safe captain option going into this round or going into that Sunday, so a bit unlucky there. Whitfield, 99, can't really complain with that, to be honest. Blakey, 91, can't complain with that either. No hundreds in the back line, I just realised, so it's not ideal, but is what it is. Sad news story was Archie Roberts. Now, he's probably going to take up the predominant chat for when I get into trades for this round, so I'll just pause there with Archie Roberts, but obviously the shoulder dislocation, I think at time of recording, it's TBC obviously on injury report, but he's consulting with a surgeon, may get surgery, may not, may come back, who knows. So I think it's just a watch and see at the moment for Archie, but we'll get into him in a little bit. Houston had the bye, probably scored more on the bye than what he would if he'd be playing. That's all right, just a bit of a side joke there. Hopefully Houston bounces back. He's bloody under 400,000, and stuck with him now, so hopefully... yeah, wait and see on Houston. Clark didn't play. Edwards, 47. I was really hoping for a lot more from Edwards. Maybe another spike score, but beggars can't be choosers. Dirksen had the bye. Heaney, my captain at 104. I was hoping for a lot more than this. Ended up being a pretty close game. I think it was Sydney Port over in Port, which you'd think just on paper, Sydney are a lot more talented than the Port team, but Port really took it to them, and it was really a close game in the end. So, and Heaney, I don't know, I feel like I haven't got his TOG numbers up, which I probably could easily, but just to the eye, he didn't look like he played a lot of the game. If I was taking a guess, probably 75% game time, but I could be very wrong. Jordan Dawson, what a trade-in. My God. 184, and look, putting footy to one side, including footy, but putting footy to one side, this guy has had his brother pass away tragically 6 weeks ago now, thereabouts, and he is in career best form. This is so remarkable, and I just can't speak high enough of Jordan Dawson, the fact that he's not only playing footy at all, but the fact that he's playing at such a high level, putting the Supercoach score aside, I just think it's so remarkable, and I go for the Bombers. I would love someone like Jordan Dawson, the quality of Jordan Dawson, to be at my club, and he's, Adelaide are so lucky to have him as their captain. Cannot speak highly enough of Jordan. Supercoach relevant. If we just flick gears over to Supercoach, 184 on a trade-in. I can't really ask more than that. I did put Bont as my VC, who was all my other trade-in, sorry. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. I probably could have waited a week on Bont. I probably could have waited till after round 16 on Bont, but it's done now. I've got Bont. Butters 128 against the Swans. Was he tagged? I feel like Butters he was playing various different roles, and it was sort of hard for the city tagger in James Jordan actually follow Butters, because he did start in the forward pocket a lot and then drifted forward, and he just was a loose watching the game. So yeah, good coaching from what's his face, Josh Carr. LDU 101, can't complain with that. Love 100 anywhere on the field, in particular in the mids. Callahan 93. I feel like, was he underscored? He was really slow to start the game, and tagged by, I believe it was Windhager from memory, or might have been Garcia. Either way, he was tagged in the first half. I think they sort of released it a little bit in the second half, but Cummings 61, can't complain there with a rookie going up in price. Sharp, can't complain again, 65 on the bye this week. Sharp and Cumming, I think I'm just going to leave those guys to, at least in the very short term, calling it the next 1 to 2 weeks, just build up that cash, and they'll be used for trades later down the line if I don't run out of trades before then. Dacos, Walsh, Ison on the bye. How's that ruck line? Jeez. Corn and Cherry. 168 for Gorm. Cherry 152. Speaks for itself. What a bounce back from Cherry following on from his 40 or whatever it was the week prior. Took a bit of a chance on getting Cherry on a couple of weeks ago. I think it was post his bye, if not mistaken. So paying off now, hasn't been paid off to date. Did not put the VC or the C on Gorn or Cherry. That was a bit of a mistake, but Bont into Heaney, I thought that was pretty foolproof, but clearly not. But look, cannot be prouder or happier for that ruck line. Two of the highest scorers for the round, I'm pretty sure, if not mistaken. Sheasel, he's just absolute bloody gun, both in Supercoach and in real life. I think he's underrated in real life, to be honest. Doesn't get enough talked about him. Yes, people claim he's got cheap touches or whatever. Any one of the 17 clubs would love to take him and put him in their starting midfield without a doubt. So track unders again, 506. Jeez, he's lost a bit of cash now, hasn't he? Horn Francis 112. He's been on a good run since I got him in the last 2 weeks. He's been great. So good timing to get him in. Trading that's paid off for once. Pickett 141. Speaks for itself. Like fucking unreal. Who did Melbourne play? Melbourne played Essendon. Yeah, put him to the sword. That makes sense. Henry didn't play. Badfield didn't play. Dobson didn't play. Reedy didn't play. Like I said in my previous video, guys, F5 and F6, especially F6, can just go for the bin. And I created Hul Kahan as well, and he'll make a bunch of cash. How much cash is he going to make? Let me move my head. How much cash is dude going to make? He's going to make 52k projected off 39. He's clearly not going to score 39. He's going to score more than that. So he probably makes 70k. We go 70k, 50k, 30k, 20k. He's going to make some cash. It's just a matter of if we keep him for cover or if we keep him for cover or use him as a cash cow. TBC on that. Now, the biggest question for this week, let me have a look at some trade-ins and trade-outs whilst here. Let me move my head again. Sorry if I don't give you guys whiplash. Trade-outs, Archie Roberts makes sense. Coming, he's got a lot of money in his head, so I can sort of get that, but he'll make a bit more cash. His buy's done. How much more cash, I'm not sure. Maybe 30, 40 more grand, and every dollar counts, to be honest. So Ison trade out. I'm interested to see if he gets named. May not. May also get forward status in round 18 if he keeps playing forward. If he scores 20s and 30s, not going to help us that much, but maybe just for flexibility. Edwards trade out. Oh, this is in my team at least, so probably not relevant for a lot of you guys. Edwards and Henry, I'm not sure how highly owned they are. Probably more relevant would be the trade-ins, not in my team. Joel Fitzgerald, that makes sense going early on Joel. Definitely looking at that as an option this week. Lockie Ash, absolutely. He's the pick of the bunch in defence, especially considering his price and role. Already had the buy as well. And he's had one game. Annan and Pons have had one game each. I sort of get it. 99k rookies. 99k rookies, say worth their weight in gold. They free up so much cash. So I sort of get that. Whether you go early on them is a little bit dangerous. If you got to go there, you just go there. But are you trading in someone that's going to get dropped is the big question. So do you hold off? I think let's go through these guys at least. Fitzgerald is an absolute ball magnet. Did himself no harm. And I don't even watch, to be honest. I can't really comment on Anand and his role, job security, etc. I know Tiggs have a lot of injuries at the very least. And Pod's apparently playing the Jamie Elliott role. From my perspective, although he's getting games at the moment, I think he's probably 1 or 2 bad games away from getting dropped, if I'm being honest. So, but maybe they really need someone in the forward pocket to take the Elliott role following the injury. That's what people have been saying, so take their word for it. And Naz is just such a good name to have in your team. Def mid as well. Yeah, I'm looking at Naz as an option this week, but yeah, I can get into that now. So for me and my team, so if I look at, sorry, I dragged my fucking head down again. So my state of play is Roberts has to go. Like, unless the only situation where I keep Roberts is if injury report drops, say tomorrow. I think it's always dropped on a Tuesday, about 5, 6 o'clock, and they go, oh, Archie Roberts is out for 3 or even 4. I'll probably wait on that. If that's the case, I don't think that's going to be the case, but wait and see. And perhaps it's probably one that's going to be TBC tomorrow, but one that maybe plays out a little bit longer in the week once he consults, once Esther maybe name their team lineups or say who's available on Thursday, and they go, yeah, Roberts is out for fucking 6 weeks, whatever. My threshold's probably at 3 to 4 to keep him, because ultimately the way I look at it is best 18 this week, best 18 next week. It's already 2 rounds gone. If he's out for 1 or 2 more, you know, I've got Edwards and Dirksen as cover. Probably lose out maybe, say, 100 points, give or take. But if he can come back in 3 or 4, I probably look to keep him. Just purely based on the saving of the trades, right? So currently I've got 64K in the bank and 9 trades. Now, I'm going to use this sort of preview for my week ahead to say Roberts is out for a longer period than 4 weeks, then Roberts is a trade out. I'm looking at a couple of options. So why don't I put on field, I'm blocking my field at the moment. Let me put on field my best team for next round. Let's play around with that. Oh, Dacos on for Heaney. Walsh on for Sharp. Ison, looks like I got a surplus if Ison even plays. Fucking Dovison is my emergency or whatever. That makes a difference. ZZ, whatever. I think getting that alert popping up because I'm not putting people as emergency, I'm not sure. I keep fucking closing it without even reading it. Okay, so if I don't touch my team, which is definitely a possibility, if I don't touch my team, I have 1 person out in Roberts. Dirksen may play, may not play. Let's arguably say he doesn't play. That's 2 out. Henry and Banfield out. They're not playing, I don't think, unless they get named. 4 out. That's me not doing any trades at all. Now, what I think is more likely to happen is that I do trade Roberts. I do think he'll be out for longer than 3 or 4. Now, there's probably 3 options I'm looking at. For my team, the obvious one is just to go straight to Holmes and call it a day. 1 trade. I get effectively currently what is, I guess, D1. I think he's, I'm not sure, I think pretty based on price, he's going there at D2 next to Sinclair, but D1 by way of average. And that's it. I got my 8 trades. And then I just leave it. You guys can't see it, but it's basically 8 trades. I've got 17.5K there left. And actually, let me put top left. Sorry, guys, I keep fucking me around my fucking head. I'm so sorry. The other trade, So if I go undo, if I click on Holmes, the other one is Naz. A little bit more expensive, but a bit more poddish. And got that depth mid as well, just like Holmes does. And then, yeah, it sort of speaks for itself. Eight trades left. Naz in the team. And then, yeah, my holes, as I probably mentioned in my previous video, if you have watched it, is pretty much F5, F6, and flex. But I'm just going to let this sort of, next 2 rounds play out. Best 18. Cumming makes a bit more money. Sharp makes a bit more money. It was obviously isn't playing, but he makes a bit more money. Dirksen might be a bit more money. Kahan arguably his price will move in the next 2 weeks. So making a bit of cash there. And any of these 99k rookies that I trade in will obviously eventually get go up in price, but not for the moment. It's going to take a bit of time for their cash gen to start. If you guys didn't watch the previous video, I traded Grundy, which was a bit of a ballsy move, I guess. If I can sort of speak of my own trade, I was a bit spewing with regards to his score. He did score pretty well, but ultimately I'm pretty happy the fact I got Dawson and Bonch is this there for the rest of the year if he doesn't get injured. All right. So look, I think, and with Holmes and Naz, they're both round 16 buys, so much. I think Naz has the easier run and he's got more games at Marvel, so, and again, a bit poddish. Which one will I lean towards? To be honest, it's really hard to say. Really hard to say. If I had to give you a call right now, I'd probably say Holmes just based on the average. But yeah, the other option though, before I start going Holmes v Naz and just scratching my head about that, is what if I just went all the way down to Fitzgerald? Now, how would that work? So how that would work is I would go get Hall Kahan, who's currently my flex up. I would then trade in, let me make this smaller so I can actually bloody type in filters. Then get in Fitzgerald. Fitzy, welcome brother. Again in Fitzy, and I'm gonna make my head a bit fucking smaller. After that, I've got 8 trades left, 468k in my bank. I get an extra playing player this week in Fitzgerald. So if I utilize, let's putting primos aside, just purely based on heartbeats. Dirksen is I don't know if Dirksen's going to play. Let's say, worst case scenario, he doesn't. So let's go. Dirksen's not playing. He may, but I'm just going to say he's not for the sake of the video. Dirksen's not playing, 1 out. Henry and Banfield, I presume, are not playing, so it's 3 outs. So I then have 20 players playing in a best 18 round. That's pretty good. And I might just leave it there. And the reason why is like, why would I just leave it there? It's like, well, you guys will recall my previous video if you watched it. Warner and Duz being Durham, I'm looking at those 2. Would I say I'm looking at both? Not necessarily. Am I looking at one of them? Yes. Could I technically go something like so Cummings going to play this round. What if I did next round? So I've got 8 trades currently. I can go Cumming down to a 99k rookie, whoever that might be, pods or whatever. I've then got 668k, give or take. I'm using round numbers now. To then get, so picture this next week, 1 down to 99k, then say Durham and Warner, or Durham by himself, and then maybe just leave it at 2 trades with carry that money over. So there's a couple of options that I have. Yeah, I like this idea. I like flexibility. And to be honest, what happens if something like what happens to Roberts happens to Holmes or Naz, and then I'm fucked again. Like I have to then trade again. Now, is it quite likely that the person I trade from Roberts to Holmes or Naz is going to get injured? No, it's not likely. But Naz just got his foot crushed by Briggs during the game. If you guys watched it, it could happen to anyone, like in a split second. So I like the risk profile going Fitzgerald because then of his price, if he gets injured or gets dropped, it's like, whatever. I've got my cash to still play with. I can then get my Warners, my Durhams or whatever. I still don't know who I'm going to get in flex, to be honest. I'm just going to let the dust settle on that. I probably would be best to plan for it, but to be honest, I'm just going to let the dust settle on the buy rounds, and then as I come out of round 16, I'm like, okay, cool. I can take my pick of whichever team I want, and I'm going to pick this player. Bang, that's my flex, and I've got 3 trades left. That'll take me through for the rest of the year, whether that be luxury or injury. Probably going to be more injuries, to be honest. We've already seen it, again with Roberts as using it as an example. So I don't mind this as an idea. Now, Fitzgerald doesn't go up in price. He won't go up in price at all, like until after buys. So Fitzgerald's played 1 game last round. He'll play 1 game this round, then go on his buy because he's a Melbourne player, and then comes back on round 17. His price won't move until round 17. So arguably you go, is there a better player even than Fitzgerald? Like maybe Pods. I put Pods ahead of Fitzgerald perhaps, just purely based on the fact that he's done his buy and his price will move. But Fitzgerald will likely score more. So depends what you value. I don't know where I'm going. I'll be honest. I might. You're welcome to follow my Twitter, which is, if you're interested, @DibblesSCAFL. I will post on there on Thursday or Wednesday, one of those days. Once teams are dropped, probably Thursday, as to what I'm doing. And it's going to be one of 3. It'll be Roberts to Holmes, Roberts to Naz, or Roberts to Fitzgerald. And that, I'm not touching it after that. Not touching it. 1 trade this week, hold my trades, and make calculated decisions as more information becomes available. That's my play. In terms of captains for this round, what are we looking at? Freo, Geelong, no one for me currently. GCS versus Hawks, no one. Adelaide versus Melbourne. Adelaide Oval, Dawson, maybe. He's probably the best option at the moment. We put him VC at the moment. Giants, Carlton, no. Collingwood, Port, Dacos. Well, to be honest, based on his round just gone, how could I go past Cherry? And do I have anyone to go into? Bond. All right. I like that. I like, especially with these buy rounds, you want to go the VC on who you think is going to be the highest score, or go a risk, to be honest. Literally just go a risk for your VC. As long as you've got a safe fallback captain to roll into. Is there a safer fallback captain than Bont? And to be honest, if I get someone like Naz, I then have the option of going into Naz or Bont. It'll be a tough call because the doggies do give up a fair bit to defenders, or halfback, running defenders. So I have a couple options there. But for the moment, as the team currently stands, I'll go Cherry into Bont. I'll undo my changes because I have no idea what I'm going to do. Trades are very, very valuable, guys. Don't go wasting them. And the worst thing you can do is get down to 2-3 trades now at this point in the season. And then it's round 14. We have to get to round 24. There's 10 more rounds to go. Is it? That's like give or take, probably 9 or 10 rounds. Anyway, leave it there, guys. Hope you guys had a good round just gone, and all the best for which is round 15 upcoming. Yeah, keep an eye on Twitter. I'll let you guys know what I do for trades if you give 2 shits. All right. See you guys. Good luck. Cheers.